For several years now, Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance has been pursuing Donald Trump with investigation after investigation, multiple grand juries, a huge fight that went all the way up to the Supreme Court, I think twice, over Donald Trump's tax returns, conveniently timed to try and get them before the November 2020 election, and with promises of all sorts of prosecutions for the president at the time and former president now. And what do they have at the end of the day to show for it? Not really much of anything. Not really much of anything. Let's take a look at what the latest report is coming out of this very, very serious investigation. I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer. I'm also a legal and political commentator on YouTube and on Odyssey. Wherever you're watching, go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications. Make sure you don't miss any videos. Okay, take a peek. Take a peek. So this is according to Donald Trump's lawyer after he spoke with Cy Vance's team. Manhattan DA probably isn't going to charge the former president. Yeah. Yep. So all this hufflepuffery that's been going on, news stories for days, Trump's going to jail, prison time, former president gonna get just eviscerated in New York. Well, that doesn't seem likely. Cy Vance's team plans to bring narrowly focused charges in its probe of the Trump organization. Ron Fischetti claims Ron Fischetti is Trump's New York lawyer who is handling this case. So here we go. Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance has indicated he does not currently plan to charge the Trump organization with crimes related to allegations of hush money payments and real estate value manipulations, according to a personal lawyer for Donald Trump. If you're not aware of what that is, those are the big scandal crimes that have been running for 3 years. First, that Donald Trump or his organization paid hush money to women for to cover up for allegations against them. One of the most notable ones being Stormy Daniels. Remember this story that was like just everywhere? It was a constant thing. You could not get away from this story. Neither could Donald Trump for a couple years until, that is, Stormy Daniels filed a defamation claim against Donald Trump and got absolutely annihilated by it. And then it turned out that her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, was a complete scumbag, may have brought the charges without Stormy Daniels even approving them, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, remember all that? It was such an innocent time. It was so long ago. But that was one of the stories. The other story was that the Donald Trump organization overvalued or overestimated its property value when it was going to take in loans, when it was using that property as collateral for loans. And then when they went to actually file taxes, they reportedly, allegedly, accusedly would undervalue the property to therefore reduce its tax burden. Now, whether or not they did this, I don't know. I don't know if they did it or not. But here's the interesting thing. It seems like Cy Vance and his team don't have enough information to suggest that if they did it, that they had any wrongdoing or culpability. And this is one of the things that Donald Trump has talked about. He said, these types of things that they're accusing me of are standard business practices all over the place. People have a market value and a tax valuation idea. And if you think about it in a particular way, right, the market value of your house is different than the tax assessed value. Now, that comes out a little differently in real estate valuations. Real estate assessments are not done in the same way at the commercial level as they are for your personal home. But it gives you kind of an idea of just how not that out of the ordinary these types of things may be. We'd have to talk about massive valuation shifts with intentional criminal activity behind them. And Cy Vance doesn't seem to be able to have that. So they're not going to bring the charges. So what charges might they be bringing? Let's go ahead and check it out. Ronald Fischetti, a New York attorney who represents the former president, said on Monday that in a meeting last week, he asked Vance's team for details on charges they were considering. According to Fischetti, members of Vance's team said they were considering bringing charges against the Trump organization and its individual employees related to alleged failures to pay taxes on corporate benefits and perks. It has been widely reported that those perks included cars and apartments and appeared to only involve a small number of executives. So there may have been some executive compensation that individuals chose not to claim on their taxes. And in that case, there could be criminal liability there. Could be. Might be. Don't know. Doesn't appear to apply to Donald Trump. And really, if that is what the organization is being charged with, well, that's something that is probably not that uncommon either. And, people should pay their taxes, and those people will likely be taken to task if they can prove the criminal intent behind it. And if they don't, just go ahead and strike deals and let those people pay back taxes with penalties. We asked, is there anything else? Fischetti told Politico. They said, no. It's crazy that that's all they had, he said. Yeah. Listen to him. He's like, I'm baffled. There's all sorts of crime going on. Why couldn't they find it? I'm kidding. When asked if the meeting touched on allegations made by Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, and adult film star and director Stormy Daniels, Fischetti replied, nothing. Not a word on that. Fischetti also said that Vance's team told him they will not bring charges against Trump himself when the first indictments come down. Now, that is couched in some careful language. It does say when the first indictments come down. That being said, they would have to probably find something else. What they're looking to do here with these indictments is they're looking to leverage some pressure against some people to turn on Donald Trump, to get them to talk about Trump and the organization. And that's why that couching language is in there. They just said when this indictment comes down, he won't be charged. Our investigation is ongoing because it's a perpetual investigation, right? Why not? Just have it go on forever. Use tons of staff and resources to keep going after Donald Trump for political means. Trump has labeled this a political witch hunt. This is a political witch hunt. Make no mistake. It has been from day one. At the beginning, it was a tool to try and get the tax information out prior to the election. That was the goal. That was always the goal. And now they're looking for just some way to punish this man that they hate. There's not really much else you can say about it. They've been investigating him for years. They don't have an indictment to show for it. And I would figure that any billionaire has probably got some criminal activity under their belt. They may not even have intended it. It's just their organizations are big. Their personal staff gets involved in all sorts of things. They tend to have their hands in lots of pots. And eventually, at some point, you're going to run afoul of some stupid federal law because there are so many federal laws that you can violate at any given time, especially as your touch and influence on the world around you grows. So I would figure there would be at least something somewhere. Spokesperson for Vance's office declined to comment. Vance's team has told lawyers for Trump they will proceed with charges unless persuaded otherwise today, which was yesterday, according to the Washington Post. Fischetti told Politico he expects charges to come this week or next. Quote, it's like the Shakespeare play Much Ado About Nothing, Fischetti added. This is so small that I can't believe I'm going to have to try a case like this. Vance has spent years investigating the Trump organization. His team went to the Supreme Court to get authorization to seize Trump's personal tax returns, meaning his investigators know more than just about anyone about the former president's finances. And they still don't have an indictment. The Washington Post reported last month that Vance's office convened a grand jury to decide whether or not to bring charges against the Trump organization or Trump himself. In recent weeks, the probe has drawn increased media attention. The former daughter-in-law of the Trump organization's chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, has shared reams of documents with investigators. Since the earliest days of Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, his finances have generated intense interest and speculation. The president refused to publicly release his tax returns, but the New York Times obtained records indicating he used questionable measures to lower his tax bills. Now, of course, that was from a New York Times article from someone who doesn't know how to do taxes, looking at a very small percentage of a billionaire's tax return and then writing an op-ed about it. It was such an embarrassing story. The person was completely blown out of the water all over the place by people who actually know about taxes. You probably remember this too. This thing has been going on forever, at least 3 years, I believe. This thing has been going on. It has square wheels. It moves at the speed of death, and it is completely a waste of everybody's time. So it seems. Now, full disclosure, of course, as you probably know, if you've followed me for a while, I did not vote for Trump in 2016. I did vote for him in 2020. Don't worry, I didn't vote for Hillary in 2016 either. I was just not super happy with some of the things Trump said on the campaign trail in regards to personal freedom, freedom of speech, and freedom of the press. As it turns out, he alleviated those fears by being better on speech and press issues than his predecessor by a clear mile, and seems to be better than his successor by a clear mile on both of those issues as well. And his strong support for the Second Amendment and other freedom aspects convinced me to vote for him in 2020. That being said, I ain't no simp for anybody. And if he were guilty of criminal activity, I would want the same level of prosecutorial scrutiny afforded to him that is afforded to everybody else. But notice the caveat there. I'm calling for the same level of prosecutorial scrutiny that would be given to anybody. He has gotten considerably more, and they have turned up considerably less than their bloviating, self-serving promises have been indicating for years now. This is turning out to be the biggest legal nothing burger in the political space. And at this point, after all we've seen the media, and the political cast do to Donald Trump, should we be surprised at all? I submit to you, no, we should not. But that's me. You are you. Why don't you drop a comment down below in the comment section and tell me what you think. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon. Peace.